welcome to another video, and in this episode I am going to be putting down the floor in the main living area. Not too worried about under the bed, that can just have a bit of scrappy old lino, but I wanted to put some nice floor down, and I have bought some, where is it? I've bought some of these vinyl peel and stick planks, and it's in the colour of, I believe it's called pecan. Yes, pecan. £13 something. I think it was £13.32 a packet, and I bought 3 packets. Hopefully 3 packets will be enough. There's 8 planks in each. Got them from B&Q, and yeah, let's get started with putting a new floor down. A couple of things to remember with these. Sorry about the noise because you're outside the van because I've got the door open. Is when you buy it, on the back of the packs you will find, let me find it. If it focuses in, here it is. They'll have a batch number, and if you buy the same batch number there, you need to make sure you buy the same batch number so that they're all exactly the same colour shade and stuff like that. Another thing, as you're putting them down, they all have these arrows, and you're supposed to make sure they go the same way so that the grain looks right and captures the light properly and stuff like that. So I have cleaned, hoovered the floor, vacuumed, whatever you call it, wherever you are, and then I've gone over it with some floor wipes to make sure all the dust and everything's off it. And now I've just started to measure and cut. I'm starting from next to the door, because then I can use full pieces, because I would rather have, look at me looking over my glasses like a school teacher, I'd rather have any thin pieces over the other side there by the kitchen unit rather than by the door, because if they're by the door when you walk in, that's where it's going to get the most wear, and that's when it's likely to split. So that's why I've put the whole pieces on this side. I'm cutting it with a craft knife, Stanley knife, and also just some really chunky scissors, because the knife doesn't really cut it straight through, and I'm sticking it down and it's going to be fabulous. I wanted to do this before I do too much, because I'm cladding the side of the furniture like this, and I want to make sure that I got my flooring down first, because then I can take the boards right down to the floor without having to leave a little gap. So that's why the flooring's going down next. I've showed you this before, sounds rude, but when I put my floor down, I drew this grid onto the plywood subfloor so that I knew where all the beams were underneath, and this has been invaluable when it's come to fixing my furniture down. For example, I knew with this cupboard I'd got a beam just here to fix to. I knew when I was fixing over here, I knew I could fix just here, and there's another point here I could fix into. So that is really useful when you're doing your floor at the very beginning and you've done your insulation and you've got your beams underneath it. Draw on your subfloor, because then it will be so much easier when you come to start doing all your other bits and bobs and you want to start screwing furniture down, because you know where the beams are. Another thing to remember when doing your floor is to make sure the joins, where are they? I've got one just here, and then there's another up here somewhere, and then there's another one just here. So I made these ones, these two are sort of next to each other, but I do them in like a brickwork fashion, because then you're not going to get one line of really noticeable seams between the different bits, and also that helps them stay down better. Another thing about putting the flooring down before I do the cladding is just here I made a little boo-boo and I cut too much off, but it's okay, because when the cladding goes down the front like this and sits on the floor, you'll never know, other than the fact that I've just told you. Well, there we are. So that is my floor done. There's a little tiny bit in the toilet cupboard that needs doing, but essentially that's all done. I've used 2 packets. I bought 3 and I've kept the receipt so I can take 1 packet back to B&Q. So this has cost me £26 to put down, and I thought I'm just going to have to open that last packet for 1 piece, because that's how it normally happens. But no, all done, 2 packets, and I've used every piece, and I've just got a few scraps that I can use just to do in that cupboard just there, which only needs probably two small pieces, one that's about 6 inch by 6, one that is about that thick and maybe sort of, I don't know, 8 or 10 inches long. So I'm sure that will get some nice comments, I think, after saying it. So yeah, floor is done. Now I can carry on with cladding around the edge, and that will cover up any little not so neat edges that I might have. So that's all good. It's nice and waterproof. And I was waiting to do the floor until I'd fixed all the bits down that I needed to, because obviously I've covered up my grid where all the beams are, but I'm not fixing anything in this central part, so that is all well and good. Hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please give me a like. If you could subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, that would be amazing. There's a button somewhere just here. And thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. Bye bye.